Kids grow into adults. That is what we have here with these Cubans." Best waved a forefinger for emphasis. With each word his voice rose, and his carefully crafted diction deteriorated. "They are on our turf, in my town, and they are taking away my business. You know, they could have gone to some other rat-hole town out in the desert and started their own casino, but instead they moved in here without asking anybody in the family and started cutting in on our business, and they siphon off the money that we're entitled to." He drew a deep breath to regain his composure and the precise speech pattern he worked so hard to effect. "Cubans do not think like us. That is why those babaloos muscled in on our action and opened that place that—" He snapped his fingers. Big Nose didn't take his eyes off the plate in front of him. "The Little Havana Casino," he said. "Right. They have no respect for American tradition. This is 1967, and they should know better than to muscle in on our territory. At the very least, they didn't come to us as they should have, hat in hand, to ask permission. Then they hire away acts that have worked for the legitimate casinos for years and look at us like we cannot do anything about it? Well, we can." Best was furious when Enrique Sandoval made friends with Frank Sinatra and convinced old Blue Eyes to perform at the New Havana Club at the farthest undeveloped end of what had become known as the Strip. When Best contacted Connie Smith to appear in the Desert Gold a month later, she declined because she was already committed to the stage in the Little Havana Club. It sent Best into a rage that took 2 days to cool off. "I can tell you to take out the mom and dad, but the kids will grow up, and I will have to deal with them in the future." Best reached out to pat Anthony's arm. "Cubans don't quit. I do not intend to be looking over my shoulder in 20 years. Nits turn into lice. History repeats itself. Do this for me, mio figlio." Malachi Best had never referred to Anthony as my son. It was a watershed moment at the worst possible time. Trying to land on a respectful argument, Anthony focused on Malachi's thick hands. It wasn't the killing that bothered him. He was an enforcer, and the very definition of his job involved violence and death. He'd killed many times with a clear conscience, because everything he did was for the family. But families didn't make war on women and kids. There was honor in war back where they came from in Chicago, and it never came home to women and children. Life in the energetic desert town had changed Malachi in a disturbing way. "Sure, boss." "Good boy." Best seemed surprised to find that his fists were clenched. He flexed his fingers. "You do that, and I will have something extra for you later, and soon you will get a new position." His speech pattern slipped back to his younger days. "You won't be muscle no more. I'll make you a capo regime. How about that?" Being a lieutenant in the organization was a significant promotion, but he didn't want the rank for whacking kids. "Mr. Best, again, with all due respect, since when do we do kids?" "Since I said so." It wasn't the air conditioning that made Anthony feel cold. It was the set of the mob boss's jaw and the expression on his face. Barely restrained tension crackled between them like an electrical short, and Anthony knew he was straddling the line. From there, it could go either way. Malachi Best wasn't used to being questioned. He wiped his fingers on a linen napkin and then used his thumb to scrape sweat off his eyebrow. "Let me say it again, Anthony, slow, so you can understand. That family has connections, and I do not intend to be looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life. Wipe them all out, and do not leave anything to connect me to the job." "Yes, sir."